And all right, guys, I am doing this live for the very first time, going straight to YouTube, Facebook, and my Instagram. Hi, everyone. This video I have been wanting to do since Saturday morning. I woke up and I just started receiving all of these downloads and messages and inspiration to talk about this topic. And yeah, I think it's important. I think it's important that we talk about how all of us have got our 2020 panties all tied up in a knot. And with it being September and 4 months left till the end of the year, I personally would like to turn this year around. How do we turn 2020 around so that it is really going to be the year that we remember in the most empowering way? And I'm realizing that I don't think this is going to my YouTube right now. And I don't know why. But okay, I'll just upload you guys to YouTube if I need to. But for you guys on Instagram, since you're all here, wow, 2020. I really want to talk about this topic because this year has been the most polarizing year for me personally that I've ever experienced, that I've ever seen. And it's just causing so much disruption in our co-creative abilities and how we actually focus on our own lives. And to be quite honest, it's just been one massive distraction. And you, depending on, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're coming from, it's, you could be, we're all in fear, whether you're wanting to wear a mask and you're scared of people not wearing a mask, or you don't want to wear a mask and you hate the people making you wear masks, or you aren't scared of the virus, or you are scared of the virus, or you hate Trump and you want him out of office, or you love Trump and you want to make sure he's reelected. Like, at this point in the game, there's so much polarization, and then there's so much distracting us in the news that it's really taking us out of our power, and it's causing us to put so much energy into someone else's narrative. And personally, I'm really tired of putting my energy into someone else's narrative. I really want to take my own energetic sovereignty back, my own empowerment, and really allow myself to start creating all of the things that make me happy, make me feel empowered, get me excited, so that when I look back on 2020, it's going to be the year that I made some sort of creative breakthrough, something I'm super proud of that I can look back on and put all this other shit that's been happening in the past. So no matter what side of the polarities you're coming from, it's important to remember that if you continue to watch the news, if you continue to just completely feed off of the social media polarization, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, you're constantly putting your energy into this stuff and you're constantly creating someone else's narrative. It's just the way energy works. The more our focus goes, energy flows. It's a very basic universal law. And we need to start focusing on our very own immediate reality, not on the reality that the TV wants us to pay attention to, not the reality that social media wants us to pay attention to. We really need to put our focus on things that actually fill our heart, feed our desires, actually work for the betterment of our own lives. Because the reality is that when we have enough of our own energy going into something that is pure to our own heart's desires, and we start feeding that in, and whether it's healing ourselves or really starting to put attention into something that we love, we're essentially then feeding that energy back out into our physical reality. The more we focus on our own internal journey, whether it's self-love, self-healing, self-creation, that is what helps to heal everything outside. So this whole journey is about healing the fractures within us. once we heal the fractures within us, everything outside of us takes care of itself. All the fractures become healed. All the lost parts come back into one. And it's really time for us to stop all of the resistance. Whether you're on the side where you just want everyone to wear a mask and you keep pushing like your whatever it is, your feelings on how everyone should be wearing a mask, or if you're on the other side, you're like, I don't want to wear a mask, stop making me wear a mask. The more we continue to resist one another and put our focus on resisting what's being pushed against us, we continue to allow that energy to persist. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because we need to let go of it all. And that doesn't mean that you're giving in to whatever side of the aisle you're sitting on right now. It means you're giving in to your own self. You're finally giving in. You're saying, 2020, I'm going to turn this year around. I'm going to make this one of the best years that I can think of. And I'm not going to make this the year of coronavirus. I'm not going to be making this the year of all of those stuff that's been kind of happening. So look around your home, look around at your relationships, look at your work, look at any creative projects that you may have been wanting to work on, and look at those right now. And how do you bring harmony into that? How do you bring balance? How do you make those better? How do you expand upon all of that? Because the more that we put our focus on that and remove our focus on everything that the news, the social media, everything is just pulling us into, into a vacuous hole. Like, it truly is this vacuous hole that kills our energy. We continue to forget about what our own needs are and what our own desires are. And we end up feeding the very thing we're fighting. We're literally helping to create a reality that none of us want. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter which side you're coming from, because I think at the end of the day, I truly believe that 80 to 90% of us are kind of hovering around the middle, maybe one a little bit left, a little bit right. But at the end of the day, we all pretty much want the same thing. We're just kind of coming at it from different places. And if we all just kind of focused on the betterment of our own selves, we would naturally be putting out this frequency and this energy and this pulse, this wave into our outer reality that will start to influence and help create the very thing that we're creating within us. Our outside world is an absolute reflection of everything that's going on inside of us. We create this whole reality as our own hologram. I mean, if you just think about it, you could have two people going to the same party and one person is having the worst time of their life and the other person is having the best time, but it's the exact same party. And the only difference between those two people and how they're experiencing that party is their own inner state. It's their own state of being. It's where their mental state of being is at, where their emotional state of being is at. And we have to start taking responsibility for that. We have to reclaim our own sovereignty. And it's so important. It's so important. Sport, horse massage, division and distraction to the outside is a psyop. Yeah, stop focusing on everything outside of you. Just start focusing on inside. Because I truly believe that we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity for the rest of this year to completely turn the shit show around. I don't want to continue putting more energy into 2020, the year that is a complete shit show. And it's time that we just kind of let go. And so for me personally, I've pulled away from really engaging in a lot of social media stuff. I pay attention to my own energy. And it's not that I don't want to stay informed. I'm pretty informed on most of the stuff that's happening out there, and maybe I'll miss a few things here and there, but to be quite honest, I really don't give a shit. I just really want to focus on my own creations and how I'm going to end this year on a high note. And I'm really just not interested in feeding this narrative any further with my energy, because it really is like a food source of our own energy. It just helps create that. And when I say a food source, this reality is feeding off of our own energy and how we're putting that focus into it. So it's really important that we reclaim our own energetic sovereignty, our own mental sovereignty, to say, you know what? if I don't really like what's going around on in my world right now, what is happening in my reality? Is my reality really a reflection of what's going on on the news, in social media? Like, how am I experiencing this? Because we all have that option of choosing how we're going to experience the rest of the year. And when I was this past weekend, I was up in the mountains and I was hanging with a girlfriend I hadn't seen since 2008. And we just had the greatest time and just being in nature. And I'm just looking around at my reality and I'm like, everything that I choose to engage in and make a touch point in my life is what's going to feed my soul. And I don't want to feed my soul with things that are continuously disrupting my own flow of creation and distracting me from being in a place where this could have been the year that made such a huge difference in my life. And so I think it's important that we actually take stock of how much time, how much energy we're putting into these outside influences and take it back, reclaim it, saying, you don't get my energy anymore. And what would happen? What would actually happen if we did that? Because if all of us stopped putting energy into this shit show of 2020 and all just focused on how to make ourselves healthier, how to make ourselves emotionally stable and happy and fulfilled, and focusing on love and focusing on personal development and healing and strengthening our current relationships and all of that good stuff, and forgot about all the other stuff. Like, I really feel like it would lose its steam. It would lose its thunder. And it would just fall apart. It would just literally, like, the house of cards would come tumbling down. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there because I really got that message to kind of do this video and put it out there and make this year, use this as an opportunity for the next 4 months to turn the year around. Make it yours. Don't let it be controlled by anything outside of you. And really take the time to invest however much time you've been spending on things outside of you and put it back within, because I think we have an incredible opportunity right now to take back this year that in some ways feels like it's been stolen from us. And I know that that's not true. We've all called this into our experience, but oh my gosh, I'm just done. I'm just done. Oh boy. Hi, Auntie Betty. Good to see you here on Instagram. And I'm just looking over here at YouTube. Hi, Kathleen, Ethan. Great advice. I'm getting rid of my girlfriend and going to buy some bourbon. There you go. Keep it in your own reality. So guys, that's just my really quick message for today. And I hope it helps. If you guys need any more information about me, just head on over to my website, NicoleFrolic.com. Tomorrow, I am going to be going live on my podcast. I'm going to be going live on Facebook and YouTube with Seth Leaf, and I'm really excited to have him on the show. And this man is just full of so much wisdom. Talk about turning something around. He was in jail for 15 years and turned his whole life around and took something that could have destroyed any of us and turned it into the most beautiful spiritual journey. So I'm having him on. We're going to be live. I'll be taking your questions as well. We'll be answering them in the live chat. So please join in. Guys, I love you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And I will be back with you guys all